Ba-doop, ba-doop, boop, boop. I know. I didn't make an announcement. I didn't plan. I didn't schedule. I did nothing I should have done in order to prepare for going live. But that's okay, because those of you who give a rip about what we're doing here will certainly see the notification. And if you have nothing better to do, as I like to say in the Animation Truman Show jingle, if you got no life and there's nowhere to go, then, come here. It's cool. Okay, so this morning was a pleasant surprise because I took the music, I played back what I had done yesterday in the live stream.
I will call him
Let's turn this off and turn it down a little bit.
I will call him Monkey. Okay.
Bless you, my child.
Tianara. Darling, what are you doing?
He has nothing.
Oh, I can't believe it. I can't believe I got that right. That's hilarious. Okay, so what am I talking about? Good morning, Maria. It's just, I said yesterday that turning the soundtrack off and just making sure the music has integrity as a piece of music, as a, sort of cohesive musical piece is so important. And you would think that's obvious, but when you're scoring and you're trying to interact with the visuals, my proclivity certainly is to look at the visuals and throw in like a little musical idea that I kind of think maybe will enhance or support what I'm seeing in the show. And what you wind up with is these little disjointed snippets of music that really definitely don't stand alone as a piece of music, because it's like the music winds up being more like sound effects. And the problem is, if that worked, if that was effective, then it would be fine. But generally I've repeatedly found that actually doesn't work very well at all. You just wind up with a bunch of kind of interesting little musical ideas, but crappy music. I don't know how else to put it. Whereas here what I'm doing is I am looking at the visual, but I'm not letting the soundtrack distract me. And so I'm just thinking about the emotion of it, okay? So what we have here. And I'm literally blown away by how well it worked, because I was really thinking mainly about just the music, and the main thing, of course, here is the chords that happen when Carliana shows up. There's nothing particularly smart about that. This is nothing more than a C chord. Well, let me get the French horn here. It's a C chord with a G in the bass, and then just for voice leading purposes, you don't want to move any more than necessary. So it's just going from essentially what's a C chord to F sharp minor, F, A, C sharp, E, and then the obvious thing to do was to resolve it, but resolve it with tension, which is to go up a fourth to the B, but make it a seventh, which is exactly the perfect chord to land on. So the thing that was cool about it is I didn't know that it was going to work. I just grabbed this chord because it felt right at the time, and then doing that little half step drop down to sort of add the tension felt like it'd probably work. And then I realized, oh my God, if I resolve it like this, you're at B, or B seventh actually, which resolves, of course, to C, or E, I should say, if you want to resolve it, or if you want to keep the tension, use the relative minor, which would be C sharp. Et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So anyway, it was kind of a bit of happy accidents. Kind of, but not really. I mean, it really isn't an accident. I mean, it was intentional, but it's just always, it's a great pleasure in life when you can take a stab and actually have things work out. So what I'm finding today is increasingly that the more I do what I'm describing here, where I just how do I put this? Basically, as a guy that's scoring something, the whole idea of scoring something, I think I suck at, actually. Now, if you're impressed with what I do, then you're going to say, "Oh, Dave, you don't suck." No, trust me. But I don't think I suck because I lack the talent. I think I suck because the way I describe to myself what I'm actually trying to do is kind of wrong. And that's what makes what I'm doing here pretty cool, is that I'm using the right language and description, if you will, to really pin down what is it we're doing here that works. Okay? And what it is trusting my own instincts about melody and harmony, which that aspect I'm pretty good at. Like I find it very easy to write melodies, for example, that are hooky, that you kind of, as Mike Post would say, that you kind of walk away humming, to the point where I've actually done it to myself. This literally happened about a week ago, where I'm walking around the house and I've got this song that's just playing in my head. I'm just hearing this music in my head as I'm kind of going through my day, and I'm like, what the heck is that song? And then I realized it was something I myself had written, which is always kind of fun. Okay, so one thing I do want to do though here on the effects on the music is I want to turn the ducker off. So this is the ducker. This is a compressor. When you play the music, see that red right there? That's the voices talking, and it means whenever the voices are talking, it actually forces the music to get quieter. I'm going to turn the ducker off, and actually I think the way I'm going to do it is just by turning the effects on the music off generally. So I'm going to click that button. I'm sorry, it's actually this button. Yeah. So I'm basically bypassing the effects. And the reason I'm doing it this way is if I were to turn off the ducker directly through here, I'd probably forget I had done it. And so by just deactivating all the effects, which there is only the one, on the entire music folder, that turns off the ducker, and it's red. I won't miss that, right? So that way you don't get the warbling when you play the music back. God, I love the economy of those flutes. I mean, how stupid. It's just like two little 2-note chords, and it just adds so much character. It never ceases, even after all these years, it never ceases to amaze me how the right little idea that, musically, when I say it has integrity, what I mean is that it's probably a stupid thing to say, but back in the day, when I was doing musical jingles and stuff, early in my career, let's say, musically, I had a real proclivity to pound things out that, I don't know how to describe this. In isolation worked okay, but when you put it all together, you had a lot of dissonances introduced, because I was just jamming along and introducing adjacent notes that sound kind of like this, right? Or, you have when you have a minor second, that's usually pretty dissonant. Anyway, I just used to not be careful about going back and really double checking that, there wasn't erroneous notes in there that didn't quite fit. It kind of worked, but didn't quite, right? Youth, what can you say? I only bring that up because the thing that's amazing about it is if you kind of follow the rules, like voice leading is a good rule. So if I'm going from an A chord to a D chord, is probably generally the wrong way to do it. That's kind of like you just taking your entire hand and moving the 3 notes up north from the A to the D. Normally in composition, you want to apply what's called voice leading, which means basically each note, you really want each note to move as little as possible to get to the next chord. Now, there are exceptions to that, like in rock and roll, if I was playing, Jerry Lee Lewis type piano, then I would do it the wrong way, because that is the aesthetic that we have learned to accept as being normal within that idiom of music. But generally, if you're going from an A to a D chord, you would go probably, actually, you're going A, C sharp, E. So you would go from C sharp to D. The E would go up to F sharp. Although one could argue that the two notes, the distance from E to D is a whole step, whereas from C sharp to D is a half step. So the C sharp would definitely want to go up, and then the E would either go down to D or up to F sharp. If it went down to D, then you would actually have a two-note chord expressing the D, which means you would either go ahead and go up on the top, or you would add the F sharp on the bottom instead. Which that sounds more, and it depends on what you're trying to do, because if it's a melody where you're trying to lift it, is better, and if you're trying to resolve it, is better. But either way, those two sound kind of different emotionally, but they're both just going from an A to a D chord, right? So, anywho, let's get busy. Okay, so the last thing I did before I went ahead and decided to go ahead and live stream is I added these pizzicato notes on the bottom. Just because I felt them, I just could feel it. And so what I'm thinking is we want to sustain this feeling for another cycle, if you will. Okay, so what do you want to do? Let's grab some strings just to give it some variety, and maybe that'll work, and maybe it won't. But right now we're on a B. Okay, and so what I'm feeling is, nope. I actually don't know what the chord is. F sharp minor might be it. Yeah, yep, F sharp minor 7th actually. So let's throw that in there. Okay, so now obviously we're at some point we've got to think about building the drama up to Carliana approaching this guy, and I got to tell you, to do this publicly is a little scary because this is the very thing I think I'm probably the worst at, and I'm gonna try though. I'm gonna make the effort here. You'll see what I'm talking about here shortly. Okay, so basically what needs to happen is right here, let's basically try to figure out what's going to happen musically first, and then kind of from an arrangement standpoint. We're on this. So probably that would be good because it's harmonically not jumping out of the... In other words, if you went to something like that, it'd be really easy to drift into way too much dissonance too quick here. At least for me. Okay, so we're already on the F sharp minor. That puts us at the 2 of C sharp minor, which does work harmonically. So I'm trying to do, in my mind, this is kind of a JW kind of thing, JW being John Williams, where he does a really good job of introducing sometimes very interesting dissonances, and yet if you analyze the music, he doesn't actually jump out of the the basic diatonic major or minor scale he's working in. So that's kind of what I'm trying to do here, is use the language of the C sharp minor E key to still get the dissonances that I'm after. So again, we're going, I know that's pretty low, so we're here, so I'm thinking that probably that's what I'm looking for. And maybe it won't work. It might be too much of a good thing, sort of thing, but let's give it a crack here. Like I said, I'll publicly humiliate myself, but at least I made the effort. Nope, that's the wrong note. Okay, turn this. that's probably not bad. Now, of course, we're going to have to cut that cord off. I got to go unlock the door, by the way. It looks like Kyle's here. Mm-hmm. All right, I'm going to mute my microphone for a moment. Sorry, I have to turn the microphone off. Kyle was here. Brief conversation that I thought wouldn't be particularly interesting to the rest of the world. Okay, so I think I have the right idea here, actually. Let's go back here. Boy, this is really... It's so tempting to go off time here, and you know, here you got the click. Like do something that's sort of like a third, or I should say like a triplet feel against the beat. I don't really want to do that, but again, you guys are gonna have to suffer because this is the hardest part of the entire score for me. I knew it was gonna be, so. I'm gonna try that. Okay, so bom, bom. I'm gonna try it. Okay, again, it might be too much, but let's just keep running with it for a moment. So. Oops. I'm going to try that too. Okay, yeah, maybe that might work. You know, it's simple block chords in a single instrument, so there's really no orchestration to it. And this is obviously way, way, way too freaking loud. But, so this is what I would probably call the really heavy-handed Mickey Mousey way to do this. Heavy-handed Mickey Mouse. 2. Okay, spam, dum, ba, 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 ba. Okay, so. Diminished chord, diminished 7th chord there. Okay. Okay. So if we keep going on that path, I'm going to say probably we want, let's go up 2 octaves here. Okay. Does that work? I don't know. I'm going to keep going because here we've got, okay, so we're on a So that's it's actually a C diminished seventh, also known as an E flat diminished seventh. It's actually the second note of the main melody of the song. Okay, so now if we want to be really cheeseball about it, let's combine the flute and the clarinet. Like I said, this is really heavy-handed, like, and probably stupid sounding. I'm trying to get sort of a swoop when her arm goes up. I don't know. The problem is that the sounds are too gentle and nice. Add the trumpets and maybe take the flutes out. What would you do from there? This is so bad. Yeah, I don't know. I'm not liking it. It's just I'm trying too hard to Mickey Mouse it, and I think no matter what you do, it's going to be cheeseball. So I think it was a worthy effort, but. Okay, so let's be a little more Hans Zimmer about it and think more about texture than melody. I mentioned this a little bit yesterday. It's the idea of allowing the orchestration to kind of carry the day instead of the melody. What I was just doing there that I felt didn't work at all was all about melody and chords. Okay, so wow, okay. Yep. I didn't like the half step drop there. But I didn't mind the contrabass coming in. Again, probably heavy-handed. That's not bad. Okay, and then this is it's too hot. Too hot. We gotta let the low notes carry the drama of it instead of the high, the diminished chord. Diminished chord can be there, but it's not really what's doing the trick, right? And then basically this goes too long. Okay, this is interesting. I'm feeling maybe something with the pizzicato there. But what the heck would it be? See, musically with that dissonance, I'm way off kilter in terms of knowing where I'm at harmonically. What did the contrabass go to? It went to a C. Yes, C. Okay, so I am on a C sharp diminished chord. I wonder, that's what I know what I need. I need the, gosh, this might require some step sequencing. You know, one of those kind of deals. Okay, I'm going to start there. That's not exactly right, but it gives me the rhythm of it in there. I'm staying on the C. I'm staying on the C diminished chord, diminished seventh, which is the same as an E flat diminished seventh, which is the same as an F sharp or an A diminished seventh. It's basically 4 minor thirds stacked on each other. Okay, so I just can't apologize enough for making you people sit through this, but okay, that's where I think allowing some texture, some rhythmic texture to start sneaking in would be useful. Okay, not bad. Up too soon. That is actually not bad. Very dissonant. I don't know if this is going to work, but we're going to keep trying. It's really weird because the first time I played it, I liked it, and now I'm having a hard time finding. Nope, I'll find it. Yep, it's just a little. It's totally dissonant. I'm seeing. I think I need to hit it right here where it switches, where that one note switches off. And then it again. Damn, played it too soon. And okay. You're witnessing one of the things I hate that I complain about in animation software all the time was where one of the limitations in the interface of the software kept me from doing what I wanted to do. All I wanted to do was shorten these notes, but because the clip ended here and it overflowed, you can't actually drag it. You can't get a hold of the end of the notes and essentially drag them to the right. I was trying to drag them to the right. You can't. It's like, stop everything. Stop everything. Got to speak the software's language. I'm really going way overboard here. Oh my gosh, that was like super loud. Interesting. Probably not going to work, but okay. What do we do here? I think I'm going to backpedal a little bit and just kind of listen to get the flow here of what I've got. There's a little bit of Mickey Mousing going on, for sure. That sounded stupid, but this is actually almost getting okay. I'm gonna smack that back one beat. Okay, so now we've painted ourselves into a corner for sure. How? Well, I'm just toning down the attack on that first one. paint ourselves into a corner because what have we got here? We've got a figure that, you know, you can argue about whether it's working or not. But hey Noel, but the figure stops, right? We're at a stopping point here. So now what are you gonna do? I'm feeling maybe a and I don't think it should be an answer either. I better turn the click back on. Ugh. Hmm. Try that one. No, that didn't work at all. Ugh. Ugh, ugh, ugh. Gosh, what the heck do you do with that? I'm kind of hearing a woodwind thing of a floop, bloop, bloop, bloop. Mm-hmm. What would Hans do? I don't believe Hans would do this whole Mickey Mousing thing through here. I'm gonna turn the sound or turn the effects and the audio back on.
Tianara, we do not talk to such people.
But surely it can't hurt to...
Okay, once the music is isolated, I'm feeling this a little clearer. This right here, I don't think, this needs to climb more explicitly. Yeah, we need a line here. I guess I'm gonna turn this back on and really listen to this. Sorry, that's not supposed to be soloed right now.
But surely it can't hurt to...
Bob, 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 Bob. Yeah. Okay, we're good. I think that's what I'm looking for. Alright, smack this up a little bit. Probably tame that one a bit. Then duplicate it in the pits. Pits meaning pizzicato.
Can't hurt to...
Yes, that works so much better. There we go.
But
And now,
surely
I
it
tell you what we
can't
can do.
hurt to-
Okay, I know what to do now, I think. Okay, this... I think this note is not working. Let's solo this, turn the effects back off, or the ducker. Muted the wrong channel, didn't I? Yeah, okay, cool. So this is excessive dissonance that isn't actually helping. That's the timpani. So I'm thinking what we want to do is punch up the bottom of this on the trombones. Let's go ahead and just copy this up here since we can. This is going to be way too loud. Yeah. Okay. So what this is, the idea here And that's an erroneous note. The idea here is to probably, let's see what we do here on the, let me change the cutoff. That's not quite, that's not giving me the change I'm looking for. It's not bad. It's not bad, people, but... Okay, yes. And see there, now it makes sense to do something with the trumpets. Let's review. We're starting on the F sharp. Okay, fine. That's all I need to know. Okay, now this needs to be definitely an octave higher. I don't mind that. Okay, now I'll leave that for the moment. That was supposed to be the trumpet, by the way, not the trombone. Yes, okay, there we go. Now, if we're going to do that, we actually could put in probably another, and actually a second, which I'm going to say maybe F, because that gives me... Nah, that's a little too just dissonant. I'm looking for the... That's not bad. Okay, so I was just looking there for a note that is 1/2 step away from one of the notes in the chord, so that I could softly just put in some dissonance there. Not sure what sound fonts or VSTs. Okay, sorry. Sorry I didn't look at the comments there for a minute. The software is Reaper. I'm a Reaper guy, and you can go download Reaper and use it for free. If you like it and you want to get rid of the nag screen, you can pay $60 and buy a license. So it's free to use as long as you want, if you don't mind about a... Gosh, I think it's like 10 seconds, like a 10-second nag screen when you first open it up. But I've used Reaper to score 8 movies, and you know, I've used it for, gosh, at least 10 years. Okay, so I guess Noel said Reaper, and then the salient, to answer your other question, there's really basically 2 answers. One is Adderall orchestral. So this is a VST that was originally published by Roland, and frankly, it has become abandonware. In other words, they don't really make any claim of ownership to it. It's been floating around on the internet for years. If you look hard, you can find it. It's downloadable. It's free, and as far as I know, they're not really prosecuting anyone for using it at this point. It's been abandonware for many, many years. The thing that's crazy about Adderall orchestral is that it is the most light. And by the way, just to be clear, if the good folks at Roland were to hear me say this and say, well, actually, no, Dave, that's not true. We expect you to pay for the software. Even today, even though we don't actually sell it anywhere. If they said that to me, I would happily pay the, I think it was like $300 when it came out back in the day. So at least 10 years ago. But I have never ceased to be impressed with how chimpy little Adderall orchestral, if you use it, I mean, if you just kind of learn it, I've used it on every film I've done. And while all these other guys are over there, you know, thinking you have to buy every new sample library that comes out, you know, I mean, they're good. The new ones that come out are good. There's nothing wrong with them. So the other thing I do is, by the way, is I do use sound fonts. And the sound fonts, it's really crazy, too, because way back in the day, the so back in the 90s, there was a standalone sampler called the emulator. Okay, so you'd be about $10,000 to get an emulator. So that was made by Emu Systems. Okay, Now, the sound of radio jingles in the late 1980s, and in particular at the studio where I interned, was really defined by the emulator, because the sounds that EMU systems supplied you with when you bought the emulator, of course it's a sampler, so you can sample any sound you want and play it across the keyboard. But they had a very distinct sound to them. There was something they did in terms of how they compressed their sounds and how they did their loops that was very distinct. Well, what happened was they wanted to make more money. Apparently it didn't work because they wound up going bankrupt anyway. But what EMU Systems did was they started creating these standalone rack mount sample player units. Okay, called the Proteus. So there was a Proteus 1, 2, 3. The first one was a basic orchestral or general, it wasn't a general MIDI sound set, but it was close to it. Okay. I don't know if general MIDI actually exists at that point as a standard, but so then they did a second. They did a Proteus 2 that was orchestral stuff, and then they did a Proteus 3 that was like ethnic. Okay. There's a point to this story, by the way. Well, so that ran its course for probably 10 years. So the Proteus was a thing. Well, what they did was when Creative Labs, who made the Sound Blaster sound card, bought EMU Systems, they got all that intellectual property with it. Okay, and so then a few years ago, what they did was they released the entire library of Proteus sounds as sound fonts. Point of the story is that when I am, there's a lot of free sound fonts out there, okay? But I have to say, when it really matters and I need different sounds that help balance out Adderall orchestral, the Proteus sounds, if you listen to them in isolation, they're kind of boxy, usually, the EMU sounds are. But by gum, in a mix, they work. Here we've got, what is the... Hang on a second here. They work. Okay, is this, I believe this is, yes. So this is an example. This sound that is freaking me out here because I keep hitting my keyboard and nothing's coming out. There we go. Okay, so that's like the main theme of that's basically Mel's theme if you want to think of it that way. So that's the Proteus. That's a Proteus sound. And so if you load the sound font, boom, you've got all these different ethnic sounds. So I'm using Baltham, and basically I just guessed when I was looking for a sound. This was like totally random. You know what I mean? So I just see, like, you can hear the loop on that, right? So that sustains into a pretty awful buzzy loop, right? See that? So the actual transient sound and sample is very, very short. So this is very old school, but I'm telling you, it's just stupid. Mixed in with the right other sounds, they work. So anyway, that's the story on that. The Proteus sound fonts are still probably available. I'm sure they're probably, they've been pirated and distributed a million times. I bought them back in the day. I bought the whole set. It was like, they were like $20 a piece, so I probably spent $60 or something on the set of sound fonts. And I've tried all kinds of other sounds over the years, and it's just, I do kind of keep coming back to them. Weird, huh? Okay. So I really want to play this music back here because I think it is better music than what I'm creating right now, unfortunately. But that's okay. Okay, gosh, I'm feeling maybe some clarinet there too. So I better, but only do two notes at a time. Something about that isn't quite right. In fact, let's just keep going here. Yeah, I'm feeling something with the timpani. Whoops. That's weird. I'm wanting that dissonance. Nah, I don't know. Let's skip that. This is kind of what I was afraid might happen, because going through this section, it's really easy to lose sight of the music because I'm trying too hard to comment on the visuals. So let's back up here and really think about the music. What's going on here? Wait. Okay. Maria has a slow work. I'm just googling all this time, trying to see if you're talking about them. Yeah, I don't know if I don't know if the Proteus, you know, I still have the CDs for them sitting in my office, and they're not particularly big files either. Actually, you know, they're not like a multi-gigabyte sound library, because they all have loops and stuff. You know, they're actually pretty short sound. But if you're looking for one thing and you want to do this type of, you know, like scoring type stuff, Adderall Orchestral is certainly my standby. I mean, it's the mainstay of the scoring thing for me. Okay, so anyway, the basic problem we have here now is that we've lost any sense of melody. So again, I want to just backpedal a little bit. Okay, and by the way, I need to turn the volume way the heck up since we're soloing it. Okay, I seriously think for now that the trumpets got to go, because they're too completely causing me to lose the beat to the point where it's not very fun anymore. I think I know what to do here. I kind of botched that last. I need to do a climb. Yeah, there we go. Okay, I'm not going to worry about voice leading at this point. I'm going to do it like a old school piano player, because that way I can see better what I'm doing. So we got a C sharp minor, 1, 2, 3, C sharp minor, E minor, F sharp minor, A. Not A flat, I'm sorry. Okay. A flat. Okay, I'm just laying those down to give myself a guide for harmonically what I'm thinking I want to build on. So I'm going to group those together. So what we have here is I'm doing a climb up the keyboard. Okay, just trying to do this like build. So it's C sharp minor, E flat if you want to think of it that way, or D sharp, F sharp minor, A flat, then A, so a half step. Okay, now what do we do with it? Noel took a day off because of your extra overtime. That play sounds fun. Huh. So you've mentioned this before, the play you write every week. What is that for your theater group? So you basically write a play every week, and that's part of your sort of discipline of your theater work is regular writing. Is that what am I reading that correctly? Okay. Let's go one bar back. Okay, so we have to establish the beat again. So let me get this chord. Oh yeah. All right, so we got a C. So let's deal with the C. I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna over orchestrate this just so I can get the ideas kind of in there. Oh, that's the wrong chord, darn it. Okay, that's basically what will happen musically. So again, this is totally cheeseball. It's cheeseball musically because it's horrible orchestration, horrible harmony. But I'm making notes so I can remember what I did. All right. Yes, when COVID started, couldn't do live shows. You suggested sending out one-page plays to the mailing list every Friday. They become pretty popular. That's cool. Good discipline on a schedule, putting an entire story in the space of a few lines. I really think that's a very good discipline. That's really, really a good thing to do. Okay, so what did this do for me? I'm gonna maybe play around here with that would have to be really, really a wash and reverb, I think, to work at all. Yeah, that's actually kind of interesting. Yeah, kind of cheesy, a little stupid, but that's okay. We're just playing with ideas here. So 1, 2. Okay, I want to put a marker there. And this is C diminished seventh. Sometimes I do this. So this is going to be, whoops, not Control M. I think it's Shift M. Yeah, and this would be C sharp minor. D sharp minor. F sharp minor. What did I do? I did, I guess it'd be technically G sharp, which is major actually. So I'll just put G sharp, I guess. And then we've got an A, B, and then we land finally on the actual the root minor chord of the whole show, which is C sharp minor. So that's kind of why I did that. Is the experiment here is how do we orchestrate this into something interesting? Okay, the chord chart's fine, right, in terms of the. Okay, everything's a little slow. But that was one thing I wanted to do. I wanted to reestablish the beat. Okay, so let's think about how could we do this. Okay, we could. Let's look at maybe teasing an ostinato in the pits, in the pizzicato. Okay, I would probably want that. Okay. Oops. Okay, and so there I botched it completely. Because I do this all the time. I'm thinking about running the software. What is the chord chart plus getting my hands to play what they're supposed to play? Maybe for other people this is a lot easier. I don't know. For me it's like this is where I just, suck so bad. But that is interesting. That's wrong. Okay, right there I'm looking at the chord. Is that D sharp minor? That was? I literally can't read that. It's so small. That's C sharp minor. That's why. Well, that's why I tend to use capital letters for my chord names, whether they're major or minor, is so that they're freaking readable. So you got the C diminished seventh, and then why did that not update? I just changed that name and it did not change. Dude. Okay, thank you. Okay, so this is very, I don't know, this is turning into Bernard Herrmann, which I kind of like. Okay, and now what I want, because this is very dissonant, but it's working. So we've got actually C to E flat or D sharp, whatever you want to call it, twice. So even though the chord changes, the ostinato stayed the same. So now what I'm thinking is, what would Bernard Herrmann do? Well, he would probably do another two, and now he would just move them up. This is, I'm sure not gonna work, but I'm gonna try it. Yeah, it's the wrong notes. Ugh, that's horrible. Okay, so here what we've got is an F sharp minor. Okay, so that would be a half step up. Okay, and that makes sense because I was playing C, E flat, and this would be, to work with the F sharp minor chord, it would be C sharp, which is of course the fifth, and E, which is, of course, the 7th of the F sharp minor chord. So I'm going from 2. So the whole thing moves up 1/2 step. So theoretically, that makes me wonder if this whole thing would actually work if I went. Will that work? Yeah, I have no idea if it'd work. I have no clue. Nope. That would have to be major there. Okay, so that's fine. Yeah, again, I don't know. You know, musically, I'm very good chance I'm going to throw all this away, but it's still a fun thing to try. This was wrong. You switched instruments on me, you goofy thing. Okay, I'm going to take this and glue it together because, insane as it sounds, something's telling me to try doubling it, believe it or not, in the trumpets, which is, I'm sure, going to be horrible. But that's half the fun, is trying stuff that might be horrible, because sometimes there are happy accidents. Okay, it falls apart at the end. That's funny. That's actually kind of funny. Okay, what the heck am I hearing? Ah, this is a trombone figure. Yes. Calm that baby down. Okay, half second here to look at the... Yeah, okay. Nothing too alarming happening in the commentary. Yeah, that is horrible right there. Of course, it's also way too freaking loud. Okay. I'm going to take this. Star plus 12. Boom. And these, again, this does not sound like trumpets at all, because they're too low. Alright, this I'm going to split off. Split. And throw that up into the Frenchies. Well, let's solo the Frenchies first. Well, let's pop this up here and see what this... Sufficiently subtle, you can't really hear it. It just kind of suggests to your brain what's going on, so I guess we'll maybe allow that to sneak in there. Who animates? Hey bro, I'm trying to make an animation. Can you please suggest what content I should post in 2D animation? Well, it depends on what your goal is. You know, what are you trying to accomplish? I mean, you know, for me, I'm trying to create an actual distributable 24-minute show. Okay, so that's why my content is designed to... I mean, I'm basically sharing the process of the actual grunt work of creating an entire show. So this is not content that's calculated to be popular or anything like that. Hopefully the show will be popular when it's released. That's what you see in this little window. But, so what's your goal? What are you trying to accomplish? Why? In other words, let me ask you this. You say you're trying to make an animation. Okay, so now my question to you is, I'm going to challenge your question. You say, can you please suggest what content you should post in 2D animation? My question to you is this. Why would you want to post anything? Please answer that question. And I want you to really think about your answer. Like, what is it you're trying to accomplish here? Why would you want to post anything at all? Okay, because recognize that the goal of learning how to animate or being good at animation, or maybe by extension being good at storytelling, has absolutely nothing to do with your social life. If you want, now Noel's probably making a smart comment here. If your goal is to create animations that are viral, then just do Pokemon Nintendo parodies. Absolutely. He's completely correct. I say he. I don't know that Noel is actually a guy, but yeah, that's right. So that's the great answer. If your goal is to just create stuff that might be viral and popular, you want it to be a YouTube short, so you want it to be less than a minute. That's pretty easy to accomplish. Because the most animated stuff's 5-10 seconds. And then, but yeah, he's right. Do a Pokemon Nintendo parody thing, and it'll probably go viral. So then you'll have the problem of, sort of like how to monetize that or whatever. But I would say my first answer is probably one of my smarter answers that I've given here, which is really, I think it's an important question to answer. The idea that a person would want to be good at animation, and then the very first question they ask is what they should post, to me is completely normal. It's understandable, but actually, if you think about the implications of it socioculturally, it's a little bizarre. Make your own anime, then you're trying to make a story. Okay, the best way to create a story would be this. Pull up your favorite anime that inspires you, that makes you want to create a cartoon. Okay? All right. Now I want you to take everything you can think of about the story and reverse it. So if you steal an episode of One Punch Man, the hero can't be a guy, it's got to be a girl. The hero can't be bald, the hero actually has hair. In fact, maybe, and instead of being obsessed with getting the best deal at the marketplace, maybe your hero's problem is that she's always struggling with her hair. And that's what makes her an interesting character, because she's just a normal person who's always having a bad hair day, and yet her mandate vis-a-vis the context of the story is to save the world, right? So that's kind of funny. That's what made One Punch Man funny, is the fact that, here's a guy that cares about getting a good deal at the supermarket, as opposed to being primarily concerned with saving the freaking world, right? So that incongruity is what was funny about that, okay? So now you have to take everything about the plot, the story, everything about it, and reverse it. Okay, number one. Number two, in the process of doing that, in reversing it, take and see and allow your imagination to wander. Allow yourself to spawn off a new idea. Because what will probably happen is within just a few minutes of going through this reversal process, you're going to all of a sudden start having ideas that are better than the limitations of the episode of whatever it is that you're sort of spawning off from. You're going to start to have your new ideas. Well, allow that to happen. Okay? So the balance, though, would be, on the one hand, go through and it'll only take you an hour to do it, so it won't take very long. But very rigorously take everything you can think of about the plot, about the characters, about their costumes, about the action, about the events in the episode. Take everything you can think about it, and everything you can think of, reverse it. Okay? So you come up with something that's totally warped away, 180 degrees away from what you started with. So it's not identifiable as that thing that you're, let's use the word loosely, that you're copying. Okay? But then again, like I said, allow yourself to spawn off in new directions. And then you have to make a judgment. If you think your new idea is actually a better idea, then go with it. It's fine. Okay? Now that has given you structure. You've got story structure. You've got characterization structure. You've got all these parameters. And now you're limited really only by your ability to draw and animate and create a scene that you can then post. Okay? which, you want to do, which I understand. So that's really all there is to it. There's lots of ways to come up with a story, and there's tools you can use and blah, blah, blah. But honestly, the methodology that I just showed you, you know what? I'm gonna spin off here in a little different direction this morning to point something out to you guys that I think is very important, and I think Maria will probably appreciate this too. But I want to tell you a little something about Dolly. Okay. I want to tell you guys something about Dolly. Who's Dolly? Dolly Parton. Funny thing about Dolly, by the way, is she has a distant cousin who was a client of mine down in Gatlinburg for a few years. But anyway, Dolly, not Salvador Dali, Dolly Parton. I was listening to, I don't even know why, but I looked her up actually on YouTube Music today. And what I found really interesting about Dolly is she started her career essentially in 1967. Okay. By the time she wrote Jolene, which was her biggest hit, although it's actually not the most well-known one, the best well-known song that she wrote was I Will Always Love You, I Will Always Love You. If I should stay, I would only be in your way. Okay, so I Will Always Love You. Well, these songs were hits in what? 1973. Okay, when she had a TV show, the song that was the theme of the show was called Love is Like a Butterfly with soft and gentle wings that fly. Love is like a butterfly. Okay, now this is an interesting thing about Dolly. I want you guys to know. Her core talent was always there. The girl could sing. Okay, let's give her that. But the thing you got to recognize about Dolly that is amazing to me is that by the time she had her first hit, in other words, she was an overnight success. Dolly was an overnight success. You know how long it took her to become an overnight success? At least 7 years. Get a hold of this one. By the time she released her songs that put her on the map, this, you know what this album was? It was either her 13th or 14th album. This woman was cranking out 2 albums a year for 7 years before she ever actually became a thing. Think about that. Okay, so Who Animates is asking a question. Who Animates? Let me show you something, Who Animates. Take a look at this. All right? Take a look at this. Take a look at this. Are you looking? This is 24 minutes of an episode. This is a 24-minute anime. Okay? And I have a whole nother episode in another timeline. Okay? So you're asking me, can one person all by themselves create an anime? Well, I don't know if anybody's ever done it. Okay? I don't know if anybody's ever done it. But looky, here's the second episode. There's some stuff that's still got to be done. That stuff's got to be inked and painted. Right? Okay, so on my channel here, you can watch the first 4-minute webisode, and I'm actually, the music I'm working on today is finishing up the second 4-minute webisode. So I'm breaking it up into pieces and releasing it that way. But the point is, yes. One guy can create an anime. It's a lot of work. If your goal is to get, likes on a viral video, that's a different goal than my goal. Okay? And there's nothing wrong with that goal. I'm not criticizing that goal. But that's not my goal. My goal is to create a show that ultimately I will wind up, well, this particular show will be a 12 episode series. So ultimately I want to have 12 essentially half-hour episodes that are distributed. So anyway, hopefully that serves as some encouragement to you. But the takeaway about Dolly that I wanted to make this point is that she had to be extremely committed to her pathway. Like, she had to be really determined that this is what I'm gonna do, because she did one flaming hell of a lot of it before she ever had anything that you could call success. Now, early on, she had little glimpses of success, right? Her song "Coat of Many Colors," was a regional hit in the 1970, 71 type of time frame. Okay? But the point for me is that, don't you think that this girl must enjoy what she's doing? Don't you think she must? She's not doing it to get likes on Facebook, She's just doing what she does. So Noel says, a word of warning. One person can create an anime, but an anime may also have one person as an audience. Yeah, I think we'll probably leave it at that. And I think that really speaks to what I'm saying about Dolly. At no point was, her audience was fairly small until she had been at it for quite a few years. And I found that really interesting and quite admirable, is that she really was just doing the work, So anyway, that's actually it for me for this session. I've probably gone as far as I can go with this music. I don't think I'm doing the greatest job ever. So I want to take a break from it and then come back and listen and kind of see what I've got. So with that, I am going to sign off. And you guys know that there will be more later. Be sure to come back, Who Animates and Noel. I look forward to seeing you back here again. It'll be